To another journalnow.com high school football video. I'm Joe Serrera. I am joined this week by East Forsyth head football coach Todd Willert. We're here to talk a little bit about his Eagles and a matchup Friday night, home game against Reagan in the Central Piedmont 4A Conference. Thank you for joining us. First of all, this East Forsyth team is a lot younger, a lot less experienced than you guys would have been if you'd played in the fall. You had a number of young men who were going on to play college football who enrolled early. What are the challenges with such a young team for you guys? And you haven't had that in the last few years.
Yeah, there's been a lot of challenges, and I mean it goes right down to just how you warm up for a game, lining up right in the warm-up line. I mean, it's that specific. When we went out for our first game against Glenn, we didn't really realize we didn't practice on Thursdays. You know, back in the day, you had older, and our kids had no idea how to line up for warm-ups before pregame. So when I say we're kind of back to ground zero, we had to reteach everything, and now that we've gotten it going, I think we've gotten better. And I think what you see, we've gotten better every week. And we played a good game against R.J. Reynolds. And we're starting to see some of the old signs of the East Forsyth.
You went from an experienced, extremely talented quarterback, Ty Lyles, two-time state champion. He's down at Coastal Carolina now, getting ready for his college career, to a sophomore, Jalen Alexander Rayner, who didn't have a whole lot of experience coming in. How is he coming along, and how's that transition going for him?
He's doing good. I mean, obviously, we're coming into this fall, and he's thinking he's going to be the starting JV quarterback and backing up Ty, and then all of a sudden you get thrown into the mix. But then the other part is we lost all three wide receivers. Jalen Thorns, our other receiver, decided not to play because he's kind of a basketball guy. Joe Richens is out with an injury, so he was our other tight end receiver. So, you know, Jalen's got a young crew of receivers with him also. So, you know, that's kind of been the learning process for him. But he's getting better every week, and he's definitely going to be a really good quarterback in the future.
How important with an inexperienced quarterback, with some new guys on that offensive line, how important has your running back, Jamon Smith, been to what you guys have been able to do offensively?
Yeah, you know, obviously it starts up front. I think our offensive line has gotten a lot better. But, yeah, we're relying on Smith a lot. In week one, we had Traylon Ingram, who was doing really well against Glenn, and then he's been out with a high ankle sprain. I don't think we'll even get him back this year. So it's kind of fallen on Jamon a little bit. You know, we're going to try to get Day-Day Stokes, our receiver, more active into the game plan. And then we have a new guy, Little Jay Fisher, that's come in and had 56 yards last week. So that's been a great thing. And Elliot Klaus is kind of our H-back, fullback guy for Jamon. But, yeah, Jamon is, I mean, 301 or 303 yards he had last week. What a breakout performance for him.
You talked a little bit about that offensive line. That's your longtime wingman, Doug Lakis' group offensive line. Tell me a little bit about that group and how they're coming along. I know you have a couple of guys with experience back there, but it takes a while always for that unit. Maybe it's the last one on most football teams to gel and come together because they have to work as a unit.
Yeah, we got L.J. Wisnett, obviously, and Jacob Fletcher back, but then everybody else is kind of new, so it has taken a while. And I think that they've been gelling. I mean, Coach Lakis, for this being his last year and kind of a funky season, I told him the other night or last night, I said, you're working harder than you've ever worked. You know, you're about a guy to go in retirement and all that, and you're working harder than you ever have. But he's going to get those guys right, and he's trying to make sure we're ready for next season. You know, and that's what makes Doug a great coach. You know, a lot of guys might just be kind of riding the wave out. He wants to make sure this O-line group finishes strong this year, and we have a great foundation for next year. And I was really happy. You don't have a guy rush for 300 yards unless you got a good O-line.
Yep. Your defense, it looks like sophomore linebacker R.J. Brown has been pretty good for you guys. and you got a senior, Tyler Kleinert, up front doing some things for you. Tell me a little bit about those guys and the rest of the defense.
Yeah, RJ, we were hoping we'd see big things out of him, and we have. What a great surprise, a sophomore linebacker, heart and soul of our defense. For being a young guy, sometimes it's hard to be a leader when you're only a sophomore, but he's done good. And then Tyler Kleinert is been playing lacrosse and football. So, he's kind of been doing both sports, and he was just named all conference for lacrosse, and he's been awesome for us this year, no doubt, a major force. And then he kind of helps our other guy, Xavier Bell, our team captain and leader. Xavier's kind of moved down from the linebacker spot to inside D line just because we needed a big body down there, and we appreciate Xavier kind of sacrificing for the team. But those three guys really lead us.
You won your Central Piedmont 4A opener last week against Reynolds. You talked a little bit about the team's improvement in that one. Now you're going to have to probably play 4 games in 3 weeks because of the COVID-19 issues and other programs. How big a challenge is that in a year when there's only one automatic playoff qualifier from your conference, and it's a tough conference? I mean, on the high school huddle show, we've jokingly, but half seriously, the last few years called the conference of death. There's no easy games in your conference, and you're going to try to play 4 of them in 3 weeks, and only one team gets automatically into the playoffs. I mean, that's got to be a little bit daunting if you think about that.
It is. We're just trying to get by it week by week, because you could become overwhelmed if you looked at, all these games coming up, and you just got to take week by week. Right now, we're focused on the Raiders, obviously, and trying to stop Canty, that big joker running for them, and then their offensive line is ginormous. It's usually kind of East Forsyth has a ginormous O-line. They got a big one, but our conference is crazy. And then next year you look at it, we add Mount Tabor and Parkland to our. Right. Mount Tabor is one of the best. They play all of us anyway. Right. So our conference is just ridiculous. Any given night, RJ Reynolds has gotten so much better. They have a great team this year. So top to bottom, what a conference. So we can't focus on anything but week by week, because otherwise you just become overwhelmed and you never fall asleep at night because you'd be worried the whole time. So we're just focused on Josh McGee and the Raiders right now.
You mentioned them, obviously. What do you see when you look at Coach McGee's team on film? You mentioned Bryson Canty. You mentioned the big line. They've got Andrew Jones, who's going on to Duke next year. What do you see from them overall?
Josh has kind of changed his philosophy. Josh has always been a throw guy, and now they've kind of went to a run. Our league went kind of from a throwing league to a running league. Obviously Josh graduated a great quarterback. Davie County's quarterback moved on. Right. Our quarterback moved on. West's quarterback moved on. So you see everybody's running the ball right now this spring. I don't know if it'll be like that next fall, but and they're so big up front. So they're trying, they're just kind of trying to mash you and be physical, which is a big difference from past offensive schemes by them. And then defensively, they try to use their speed. They got athletes out there. Their DBs are very special. So they're trying to pack the box a little bit and letting their DBs kind of shut down the receivers. So it'll be an interesting matchup come Friday.
What do you guys need to do? What do the East Forsyth Eagles need to do to come out with a win against this Reagan team?
I think the big thing that we need to continue to do is not have turnovers. I think finally in the RJ Reynolds game, we finally didn't have an offensive turnover, which is great. And we had a few turnovers on defense. I'm just very big on believing the turnover matchup makes a big difference. The other thing we got to work on is we got to convert on 4th down, and we need to stop teams on 4th down. I believe RJ Reynolds ended up having 3 or 4 conversions on 4th down. Now we had a couple stops on there, but defensively we got to get off the field on 3rd and 4th down, which is going to be hard against a running back. There's no doubt we got to stop their run game, but now they do still have a quarterback who can throw it. So that creates a challenge when you got a team that can run it and you try to stop that, but then they still got that quarterback and a group of receivers that can still throw the ball.
Yep, I hear you. All right, well, we wish you luck in the game Friday night. Should be a very good one to watch at East Forsyth. And as always, thank you for taking the time to talk to us, share your insights.
I appreciate it, Joe. Thank you for everything you do for high school sports, man. You're the best. I truly mean that.